It's good to be here with you guys. I was asked to speak last time, but I was actually speaking in Dallas last year. This is so awesome to be here with you guys and share with you basically what I'm very passionate about. And one of the things Sam already kind of introduced you to, but basically, yes, I always love to start out with this because of what I'm going to be talking about today. And basically, yes, I'm a mom of 8, and that tells you right there that anybody can do this business. And I'm a Lola, which is in Filipino, that's grandma to 7, and then my son just announced he's expecting his first baby. So we're gonna have 8. I love to travel to the blue beaches of the world. It's one of my passions. If you follow me on Facebook, you always see a beach picture here and there, basically. And of course, we like to do personal development retreats. Love to inspire others. It's one of my biggest passions. So, and of course, obviously, I love to spend time with my family. And so, is that the next? Okay, I guess so. On Stephen Peterson's podcast, whenever he interviewed me, we talk a lot about this. And Sam introduced this whole conference about the biggest thing, and that is, if you are doing basically what you're doing in this business, you have to figure out exactly what that is, and you have to figure out what your why is. And when you find out what that is, then it's almost like everything else falls in place. And sometimes I think we do it backwards. We have to find out what that is, and sometimes, like, I know that when I first started doing Amazon, I was going a million miles an hour, like a lot of us still do, and I had a knee injury. For those of you know, I had my cane out there somewhere, and it actually got me through security quicker. People felt sorry for me, so I think I'm going to bring that with me even whenever I'm not injured. It's awesome. So that's this. We have to figure out what our why is, and during this knee injury, it really helped me to slow down, to really figure out what that is. And so I always love to show this picture. This is the last Christmas before this little. He's not little anymore, but this boy is on a church mission now in Uruguay. And so this is the last family picture that will be together. This basically shows all my kids with their spouses, all the grandkids, except for the youngest grandbaby who's right here. But we'll go back to this real quick. Oh, not that one. So give you a little bit, little view of my crazy family, because that's really how we are, honestly. So. And that's the newest one, Christopher Michael. Of course, I have to give you this view here because whenever you're thinking about your why, that's, I do a lot of journaling on the beaches of the world. So, this may not be your thing, but you have to find out exactly what it is, to start your thing. So, one of the things a long time ago, I went to a seminar, and what they made us do, and it kind of made me sweat, because they're like, you have to get this done before the end of the day. And they say you have to take 2 hours or however long it takes to gather some of pictures, videos, whatever it is, of things that are important to you. Whether it's some people that that have made a difference in your life, whether it's your family, whatever is your passion. And they made us do that. They made us do a why video. And so I challenge you today. This is actually one of my personal development stuff that I talk about, and that is to do this. Basically, every morning I play this video, and I'm getting ready. It's a 3 to 5 minute video, and it just flashes before my eyes to remind me at the beginning of every single day, what am I doing this for? And so I challenge you to do that today. I love this. Somebody asked me one time, Stephen, I don't know. He said, what is your definition of success? And I'm sure someone else has said this, but, so I'm probably quoting somebody, but it's exactly how I feel. And that is, success is doing what I want with who I want and when I want. And if you think about it, if you're able to do that, to me, that's success. There's different definitions of success, but, that's what it is to me. So, basically, I haven't reviewed these slides in a while. How do we do that? So basically today what we're going to be talking a little bit about is how to be a good delegator. I know that through the other speakers that spoke talked a lot about outsourcing and, being able to, choose like Stephen's awesome talk about finding exactly what it is that you want to do. I mean, we do a lot of things in this business. There's a lot of things that you have to do in this business. And honestly, there's just no way as a one person to do it. And so basically that's, I know some people do this by themselves and that's great. But when I first started, that's how I started too. I was one person and then I hired my best friend to, basically shop with me, and then it got to be a business and it was awesome. And then basically, I've had like an online business before Amazon, so I had 2 or 3 VAs working for me. VAs mean virtual assistants for those kind of new to that term or whatever. But they were ones that basically help me do everything else that I can spend time with my kids. And so one of the things that a few years ago, probably about 6 years ago, I went to an event in San Diego, and I love thinking about this event because when I went to this event, everything was awesome, right? They talked about all these awesome things, you can learn about or whatever. But there was one particular speaker, and maybe some of you know him. His name is John Jonas. Does anybody know him? Heard of him? No? 2 or 3 people. Wow. And anyway, he talked about outsourcing, and it was just like mind-blowing to me. I remember calling my husband and saying, that I can, is this going to go? He wants to stay up there. He talked about he talked about replacing himself, basically. And I was like, what is he talking about, replacing himself, whatever. And so the concept is basically that he was able to teach us how to pay $250 to $400 a month, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, full-time virtual assistants. And I didn't even really care about the rest of the conference when I heard that. I'm like, wow. And so I looked into that. I looked into seeing, what exactly is that? And we'll talk more about this, but basically it's out there, and, and there's virtual assistants you can get all around the world. The Philippines, you can get them in India, you can get them in, Pakistan, Bangladesh, just all over. A lot of different people use different things or whatever. So, where do we find them? There's different sites that you can do, and I'm just going to run, what is my time frame? I'm going in.
About 12:20.
12:20? Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're just gonna, I think they said they're giving you slides, but you can write down some of these sites basically. Eric Hardwick, does anybody know who that is? No? Okay. Yes? Okay, awesome. So he has a site that you can get this on, he has basically VAs that already know how to do Amazon stuff. They are already trained to do specific tasks. And we'll talk about more of that later. So Viewer.com is another one that you can go to. Upwork.com. And I'm sure that there's several others. I'm just throwing some out that I have used in the past, and now I have about 5 full-time VAs that have worked with me for at least 5 years. And once you find a really good one, it's like they're so loyal to you. Like they don't want to leave you, and they'll do whatever it takes to make your business soar. Like I know, like one of my VAs, they had a lot of typhoons in the Philippines, and I heard about it, and I basically told him, I'm like, don't worry about it, take care of your family. And he was literally in a house. His house was made of tin and all this kind of stuff. And he literally was in the corner of his room, like in the rooftop. He told me he was doing his work for me. And I was like, you really don't need to be doing that right now. So crazy. So, we talked about this a lot. We talked about how if you have a business, whether it's Amazon or eBay or merch or anything, that if you there is no way that I could run my family and run this business by myself. There's no way. I look back at it over the last few years, and I can, but if you want to scale it, if you want to grow it, then you have to think about, how can I do this? And how can I do this, in an efficient and in a reasonable way? Because, if you think about hiring a worker here in the United States, paying, $1,500 to $2,000 a month, maybe, on an average for full-time, that would be $10,000 a month for me that I'd be paying. So, anyway, One of the things that I do every day, or like at the end of the night before maybe, is I think about the tasks. I actually do this on a Sunday night. I do it kind of for the whole week. And I think about what are the tasks that I need to get done this week. And basically I brainstorm. I write them all down, whether it's something new. Chris Green's presentation, I don't know about you guys this morning, but that just completely blew my mind. I'm so excited to implement a lot of that stuff. But a lot of the things that we do is that, I'll take a course, or I'll take maybe something that he had mentioned or whatever, and then I'll send it to my VA for them to do. And so, so basically I take those and I kind of piece it out in my brain, or I write it down on a piece of paper, and then I take my day and I say, this is what I can do, and this is what I'm going to outsource to my virtual assistants to do. And so that's how I get so much stuff done. And then, I kind of like do different things like, okay, this is going to be for Amazon, and this is going to be for merch, and this is going to be for my personal development retreats or whatever. These are the tasks that I'm going to do. I'm sure many of you know Jim Cockrum. He says it's best. And he says, do only what you can do and outsource the rest. And, if you think about that, that's so true. Because I think that sometimes what we do is we get so, caught up into feeling like we can only be the one to do it. We can only be the person to take, the boxes and package it. I was kind of like that at the beginning. I was like a little bit hesitant to outsource my packing and shipping whenever I first started doing Amazon. I'm like, I hope that they put this in the right box and, make sure that it's in there just right or whatever. And then you have to realize that, again, that, Jim's quote is awesome, that there's so many other things that we can be doing, negotiating with wholesalers, or we can, whatever it is that only we can do. And there's only things in our business that, like, I can do. Like, maybe specific things that I don't, I'm not going to let my virtual assistant make that decision. So be thinking about that. Be thinking about, what are some of the things. So basically, we've been talking about FBA. I've been doing FBA for about five and a half years now. It's been an awesome thing. And, started with Chris Green's book. I read his Retail Arbitrage and implemented it, and it's basically changed my life. So this is kind of what we talked about a little earlier, about writing down your tasks. I'm such a task-oriented person, and I think that's how I run my family too. Like, this kid needs to do the dishes, that kid needs to take out the garbage. No, but basically you basically have certain tasks, and what are they? Is it packing and shipping? Is it sourcing for retail? Is it wholesaling? We'll talk a little bit about that as the slides go through, but what are some of the things that I want to accomplish, and what, like, say for example that you're saying, I want to make this much a month, and then you break it down, and you break it down into little, into days, first your months and your days, and then your tasks. And so, I'm not sure some of you have heard this app on your phone. There is a free version, it's called Awesome. Has anybody heard of this app? No, okay. Well, I went to a conference, I think, several years ago. Shalene Johnson, she's a fitness guru, but she's also a business person. And one of the things that she talks about is writing down your tasks and things like that. What this does, as you can see the different folder colors or whatever, is you can write down, you can create folders. Maybe one folder is for Amazon. Maybe another folder is for eBay. Another folder is whatever your different businesses or ideas are. I mean, I have a folder for a lot of things. I have a folder for each of my kids. I have a folder for my music or whatever that that my kids are writing, or just to break it out. And what's kind of cool is we always have our phones, right? I mean, I write down in my journal, my notebook all the time, but we always have our phones. And this has been awesome because it's has everything, all the way from creating your events to creating tasks for your virtual assistants, that you can write down what you're doing and then basically send it, by Word document or whatever, PDF or whatever, to your virtual assistants. So it's pretty cool. So what are some of the things that we can outsource? I know that some people are saying that this is dying, and probably it is and stuff, but I know there's a lot of people that still do it. Since I've had this knee injury for the last 90 days, I don't do it as often, but I'll go one day a week. But what I do is I hire other people to do it. This is one of my cousins, and she just goes out and, so basically we have 3 or 4 shoppers now that go out and do basically what I was doing. And so, there's different ways to do that. We have gift cards that we give them, because some people are a little bit hesitant, to give them their credit card or whatever. Some people do get, like an American Express, another card for their workers. Most of the people that work for me are my family anyway. But it's really cool because now they're doing basically what I was doing, and then you can imagine having 3 or 4 or 5 people doing retail 3 or 4 days a week, and then you basically they're so good at it. They're better at it than I ever probably will be. So that's pretty cool. This is my daughter. She started her prep center. She only she does a small prep center, but it's really cool. But this is what she does whenever I'm not working. And so it's awesome to know that, whenever I ever do retail now is I don't pack anymore. I don't remember the last time I packed and shipped. I just drop it off. And so that is another form of outsourcing. What is something that you can do? Because it got to a point in my business where it wasn't growing. And I'm just like, I've got to do something different. And then, that's when I started outsourcing, for a prep center. So how many of you guys do that? How many of you have a prep center that you send your stuff to? Yeah? Okay, that's good. Sam has a great prep center that I'm sure for this group that he has, can send it to. That's awesome. And of course, we talked a little bit about online arbitrage. And I don't know if you can see this very well. You'll get slides or whatever, but these are older. These are from back in 2016 or whatever. So basically, this is what I do when my virtual assistants online is, they basically take a spreadsheet and I give them some software, whether it be tactical arbitrage or whatever software that you're going to use, and they basically help me find profitable products. It's awesome. I don't do this anymore. This used to take me hours to do, to even just use tactical arbitrage. I don't even know how to use that. I just give it to my virtual assistants and say, go learn it, go do this. And so basically, and like I said, I know you can't see it, so I kind of just point at it. Basically, they come back with a product, and they come back with what it's selling for on Amazon. What is the profit? What are the FBA fees? Of course, Texas has 8.25% tax. What is the, store price is what you can buy it for. And then the store that you can buy it from. And then the Amazon price that you can sell it for. What is the rank? What is the FBA? How many FBA sellers as opposed to merchant fulfilled? And then the Amazon link so you can check it. And then you can't see some of those other columns, but it has, if you're selling shoes, the size and color, or a coupons that you can apply. And so, how many of you guys do this on your own? Anybody? How long does it take you to do that? How many? 4 hours a day? Long. Sometimes? What's the longest it's ever taken you to do that?
Sleep.
It would take me literally 4 to 6 hours to do this. And so basically, I have one VA, and I tell him to send me, 5 to 10 a day. And at the end of the day, I pick whichever ones that I think that I want to buy. And I've actually outsourced that to my daughter. So she does the buying now on the online stuff. So that's awesome. So, I just said that. So basically, she, of course, there's not very many people that I trust with buying my online stuff, but my daughter, she knows, a lot. Okay, so basically, another way to outsource, we talked about, Stephen had a great little chart, of ways to make money on Amazon, retail, online, that we just talked about, retail and online, and now wholesale. How many of you guys do wholesale? Great, that's awesome. And I like that little tip that Stephen said in his little talk, really fast. Did you hear him say, you just go to pricechecker.com and you do this, and then you can find the manufacturer and do that. And he gave a little tip to you right there on how to do that. One of my best wholesale products was something from Big Lots, and it was a grocery item. And it was really crazy because I don't even, I don't shop at Big Lots as much, but I found it, and then I contacted the manufacturer, and then, basically he started sending pallets to Amazon on it for me. It was awesome. And it was just from doing retail. And that's one of the beauties of doing retail is you find out what products that you're selling really well retail. and then you can, if that one's selling pretty well, then you can try and get a wholesale deal on it. So anyway, that product does really, really well, and it's all from just doing a simple retail thing, right? So a couple of things this is kind of some things that I have them do, basically. So I have my daughter, basically, I have her find wholesale companies that, we can get accounts with, and she basically does all the sign up for me. You have to send in your name and your business card and, your EIN, all that kind of stuff, resale number. And so basically it's the same kind of thing as you just saw with the spreadsheets that I have the VAs do. They do that with the wholesales. And so, of course, we go to some of the trade shows. I wasn't able to make ASD this year. I was supposed to. But I was also learning how to do some co-op deals with John Bullard at one point, and I haven't really executed that yet because it's so busy, but it's basically learning how to find, this is another way to make income without having to have inventory, and that is to learn how to locate specific deals that you can offer in bulk. And then basically, let's just say, I don't know, it's a toy, and they're able to do 500 units. And so they're saying their price to you to buy it is like, say, $5, right? So then you find you have a group, like I'm in 3 or 4 WhatsApp groups that have maybe 30 people in them, and you send it to the group, and you say, you can buy these for $8. And so basically you're making like $3 of profit, but you're not not storing inventory, you're not paying for it until they pay you, if that makes any sense. And it's an awesome way. I just haven't, had a chance to really do that. But that's another way to do wholesale. It's awesome. How many of you guys do private label in here? You don't do private labeling. So I know that there's different softwares out there that I think they mentioned Jeff's Scope, which I have a little black mark since the last time to look into that software that does awesome keyword research stuff. And then there's this Jungle Scout software. So basically, again, that's what I do is I send the software to the virtual assistants. And I basically say, okay, these are from long ago. So even if you saw these, I guess you can take them if you want to. But it basically has, again, I know you can't see it, the Amazon link, with the Amazon price, how many reviews are for that private label, what does the Amazon sellers rank, how many sellers, which is awesome. Some of these only have like 1, and then the weights, because at one point, I was doing under a pound. Now I'm kind of moving into learn from Andy Salmons, about, getting into doing what others don't do and buying private label that might be like cost more, per unit. Maybe instead of $1 a unit, it'll cost maybe $10 a unit, $8 to $10 a unit, because not as many people start here, this is still awesome. I have some products that are here that still do really well. So the Alibaba supplier link, and then how much the price is, which is awesome because I can tell, as I'm looking through this list, and the goal here was to tell my VA, I want you to come up with 100 private label ideas by the end of the month. You have 30 days. And so, Can you just go back to that slide? That'd be great. And so basically, I'm going to put that down like Stephen did. So basically, with private label, it's really, really awesome because private label, again, takes a lot of time to do research. It's just like finding products for wholesale and, wholesale or online. But this is what happens at the end of the day for me with the VAs. They share with me a document like this. How long do you think this would take you to do? I want you to stop and think about that. How long would it take for you to sort through that? I know the software helps, but I don't even know how to use all the software. I just send it to them. And then, because somebody asked me the other day, how did you get approved on Walmart? Because my Walmart account got approved about 2-3 months ago. And I honestly told them, I really don't know. I sent it all to my VA, and somehow we got approved to sell on Walmart, which, by the way, Walmart is slow, but 2 or 3 of my private label products are selling on Walmart. Can you imagine that? It's awesome. Being on Walmart.com throughout the world. So imagine thinking of like ideas that can come from here that you can, like one of them is a bundle. And then, one of them is, one that I have private label. And so it's so exciting to see, the different platforms that you can get on, besides Amazon. Amazon's awesome. I love Amazon. I've just been kind of starting to get, through different channels, such as, eBay. We've been doing Walmart. I'm not quite on doing Jet yet, but I saw someone speaking about that later. I'd like to know more. But I actually started getting on Shopify as well. We can talk a tiny bit about this at that time. But of course, Chris has talked about this a lot. But it's just something that you can get your VA to do, is to create your designs for you and to upload it. Because even though that seems kind of easy, and Chris's course is awesome. His basic, the course that he's giving for free, if you haven't been through that, and then he has an advanced course, I've been through both of those. But just to even do it yourself, it just takes time. So these are the kind of things that you could be thinking about. This is another way for you to outsource your virtual assistant. I just saw this shirt, I just put it on there, but I don't know how long it would take me to do that myself, but it's just something, again, that just give it to your virtual assistant. Is that someone's shirt? How many of you have heard of the system now, like, I don't know, it's one of my friends has put it up, but it's called low hanging system basically. And so she teaches how to, it's kind of the same kind of thing as like with t-shirts. And it's something that I've been doing with my VAs now. Basically something as simple as putting text on a mug. And black text on white cups sell awesome, And so basically what it does is they have their own, it's gearbubble.com is one of the platforms. And they now can integrate, what's that? Can you repeat that? Gearbubble, G-A-R bubble.com. Now what they do is they integrate with Amazon to where you can put your API in or something like that. And so when you're uploading it to that site, it uploads to your Amazon account. So I just kind of started doing that. One of my mugs is on Amazon now. I'm kind of excited to see how that does. But this doesn't take any money up front. You don't have a bunch of mugs sitting in your house. It's basically kind of like merch, to where you come up with a saying, and then you can have your VA, or you upload it to that site, and then they drop ship it. And so people, one of my friend's sales last month, just from doing mugs, was over 100,000 in sales. And I was just like, I think I'm doing this business wrong. I think I need to go into selling mugs. And so there is an app on your phone that I think it's called Word Swag. I think it's like $4, I don't know. Word Swag. And so when I'm sitting waiting for my kids to pick them up from school or bus stop or something, I'm thinking of quotes. I ask my kids all the cool quotes too. But there's ways to do it. Again, you don't have a lot of time to go into, but you can get your virtual assistant to research. There's ways to do it. Google Trends, go on Amazon, itself, and look up mugs. Inspiring quotes. There's so many things, and it's not just black on white. They have glow, lights that glow on your mug, kind of like change colors and stuff. It's really like when you pour your hot coffee in it. It's really cool. They're also coming out with necklaces and hoodies and other things. So all of this is no inventory. You don't have to pay capital up front. Just you do it yourself or pay a VA to do it. So my goal on these is to do like 10 of these a day. Because it's unlimited. You don't have like limit like merch. You can upload as many mugs as you want. You have thousands of mugs, and so I think it's an awesome stream of income. This is kind of how I just wanted to kind of show you how like we just basically use Google spreadsheets. And that's how I share it with my my VAs and everything. So just a few small other things if you haven't thought about it. This is what one VA does for me. She manages it. Like if there's a pricing error or a customer asking a question about a product, what size is this or whatever, she handles all that. Of course, they do eBay listings, which Stephen mentioned Joe Lister. You can have him do that, or I have somebody that basically does all my images on on eBay, and he runs it. I don't do any of that stuff. It's so amazing. They basically look for refunds and returns, which I'm sure there's different PDFs out there you can read on how to do that. I have to monitor the negative reviews, and then of course the customer service. So I have about 10 minutes. we basically talked about this earlier, and that is everything that we just talked about. That was a lot, and you have questions later, you can ask me to try and fill in, but what are some things, that's what I asked myself. I have part of my business that I'm using where it takes capital, right? You have retail, online, private label, wholesale. That all takes money. And then I have another part of my business now where what are some things that we can do that don't take capital? Because, sometimes, we don't have money to do certain things. So merch, the mug idea I showed you, it's really, really awesome. And it's not on the slide because I just started doing this, but I'll share this with you because I have about 5 more minutes. And that is what I started doing is creating Shopify sites now. So what I'm doing is I'm having my VA create specific niche Shopify sites. And what we're doing is what I'm learning to do is to create them and then flip them. And so basically, maybe it takes you, I don't know how long, let's just say it takes you $100 to, do your Shopify site with the fees of Shopify and all that kind of stuff. And then you put it on like a site like what they talked about with Ryan Grant, where he went to, was it Empire Clippers? Was that the site? I don't even know. But I'm actually going to a seminar about it in about a few weeks to learn. I'm actually going to become a certified seller on how to sell, buy and sell, buy and flip Shopify sites. It's an awesome idea. And I have friends that do just Shopify. And they don't stock inventory, it's all drop shipping. And they have certain sites that they drop ship from. It's so, so cool. And they have their VAs do it. So, my newest VA, I just hired 2 more VAs this past week actually. One of them, I just said, I'm so behind on these courses. Please listen to these courses. Here's software to make it go fast speed. And take notes, summarize it, and send it to me. And so now I'm caught up on all my stuff. It's awesome. It's awesome. If you need to know the fast speed software, I've got to look that up. But, the second VA does a Shopify site now. I just gave him, I'm doing a 90-day challenge where every day you're doing like, add a theme. Now add your products. Now do this. And so, they were told to diversify. The Amazon, is awesome. I love Amazon, but the brand restrictions are there. And we have to think about other ways that we can be off that channel. So that's kind of for 2017, I have all of this here for my Amazon stuff. But over here, that's kind of what I'm going toward. And it's so exciting because I see it coming into play, when you see your first sales on other channels. And in Shopify, they don't tell you that you can't sell that. They don't tell you that it's restricted. So it's so awesome. I feel kind of free. It's kind of weird. I don't have to ask myself, is this restricted? Can I put this on my Shopify site? So that's kind of what I've been doing. And basically, of course, it goes all back to why we do what we do anyway. And I have to show you my beautiful kids again, right? So that's what we do. We have to think about all the awesome things that, even just being here this is the first trip I've taken in a while. I travel a lot, but it's been some time. But my kids were like, Mom, we miss you. You need to come home. I'm like, I'm gone for like 2 days, But it's like, what are we doing this for anyway? Money is awesome. Money can, you can make money so that you can give back. But you have to, and I think I was talking to Randy about this, he's going to be talking about this later, and that is, we don't want to work ourselves to death and doing so many things to where we don't even enjoy our life, right? And I've learned that over the last 3 or 4 years, because I am a workaholic. I'm always working, and now I'm not always working because I'm outsourcing. And I hope that you have a lot of things that you can think about. And by the way, remember that the outsourcers can be anywhere part-time. You can get one for $100 a month. It's awesome, like working 4 hours a day. And by the way, it's not a ripoff. I am Filipino. These people are from the Philippines. Their rent over there is like $50 a month. So $250 to $400 a month is huge for them. It's huge. They thank me all the time. So I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you guys outsource more, and I hope that you guys will remember your why and think about that. Thanks.